1922, the Daily Mail, who was trying to encourage aviation in this country, sponsored a gliding meeting. This was held at Itford, which was on the South Downs behind Lewes. 50 years later, the South Down Gliding Club decided to hold a meeting to commemorate this and invited people with vintage gliders to attend. This is a Gopher from Husbands Bosworth. The Slingsby Gull, dating from 1938, belonging to Tony Smallwood. Minimoa, belonging to John Coxon. Slingsby Petrel, 1939, one of three built then. The Dunstable Viking, designed by Scott in 1937. Cedric Vernon and Howard Buck. At this time, hang gliding was just starting in this country. The early types of hang gliders, the Regallo type, were brought here for demonstration. Aeromodelers were demonstrating as well. A stiff northerly breeze blowing up the downs made conditions ideal, as these people were learning at this stage. Minimoa. That's Philip Wills, World Gliding Champion 1952. In 1973, Chris Wills heard about several vintage gliders that had been restored on the continent, and he invited them over to England to a meeting to be held at Husbands Bosworth. During that week, the idea of forming the Vintage Glider Club happened, and the 30 members joined during that week, and the club developed from there. This is a Swiss Mosway II, built in 1943. Behind it is Slingsby Petrel. The Petrel. The Rome Buzzard was a glider designed in Germany in 1933, and the two halves of the wing were joined together and then lifted onto the fuselage in one piece. The lady in the headscarf is Joan Price. She actually imported this particular machine in 1937 and flew aerobatics in the Cobham Air Circus with it. Doc Slater, Connie Hervey and Tim Hervey. Kirby Kite. We had a visit from the Goodyear airship. Kirby Kite. Minima. Kirby Kite. This is a Via, 1937 German design, 18-meter glider. Minima. Martin Simons and Chris Wills. Slingsby Petrol. Two petrols and a kite, bridge soaring along the Mind. Petrol. The first of the Vintage Glider Rallies to be held on the continent was held at the Wasserkuppe in Germany. That is the memorial to the glider pilots who gave their lives in developing the sport. That is a Spear 4. Via Mosway. Roddy Morgan, one of the founder members of the Vintage Glider Club with his Bruno baby. Martin Simons looking for a thermal. Willi Schwarzenbach, one of the Swiss team. Doc Slater. Mosway 3. Long takeoff runs here because the airfield was 3,500 feet above sea level. The Swiss Via. Roddy Morgan's Bruno baby. Martin Simons. Billy Bischoff, Swiss owner of the Mosway too. That is a Hutter H28, a tiny glider, 12 meters span. Spear 4. the Hutter. This particular mini-mower was found in France by Rainer Williker in a somewhat dilapidated condition, and he gave the French a crate of beer for it, took it back to Munster, and it was restored in the workshops there. One day we went up to a nearby village where there were some gliders stored in a barn, and among them was this Horton Flying Wing. It was actually a powered Horton. It had a pusher engine originally. That's Peter Riedel explaining things to Arie Seelan, Dutch aeronautical journalist. Peter Riedel was one of the pioneers at the Wasserkuper. The Wasserkuper enjoys a lot of bad weather. There's Peter Riedel with his roan baby. This is a replica of a glider he built when he was a 14-year-old schoolboy in 1919. The German authorities weren't very happy with him flying it, and they restricted him to an auto tow across the field at a height of not more than 1 metre. That's a Focke-Wulf-Stieglitz light aircraft from the between the wars period. That's a Sparlinger S18 from Switzerland. Roan buzzard being rigged. Cutter H28. Minimoa. Morseway. The Kirby kite landed in this field, which was at the foot of the Himmeldankberg. Himmeldankberg was the mountain that Kronfeldt did the first thermal flight to from the Wasserkuppe. This is the airfield at Schweinfurt. This is the gold race from the Wasserkuppe, won by the Kirby kite. It's a Spear 5, Swiss two-seater glider. Morseway. Miser. This is Rainer Billiker, lives in Munster, and he raised a brood of starlings in his back garden. In Holland, on the way to the docks, the near side wheel hit a concrete bollard and got bent backwards and sideways. We took the glider trailer to Terlet, the Dutch gliding club, and in the workshops set to work on it, and within an hour and a half we were on the road again, which was amazing. Willy Schwarzenbach in his Sparlinger. SG-38 primary in winch launch. This is a line-up of gliders on the opening day. Peter Riedel's Roan Baby was in the foreground. There it is again. The original one he made in 1919 was covered in brown packing paper. There it is in flight. Now the wing roots of the Horton Flying Wing. Schweinfurt Airfield. Roan buzzards of all sizes. Wasserkuper Airfield. There's a medieval village of Gersfeld at the foot of the Wasserkuper. It's inside the Schleicher factory at Poppenhausen. There's W-15s. Kirby Kite in the field. Lots of helpers. Hutter H-28. There it is in flight. That's a Condor. This is a series of postcards which we found in a cafe somewhere near the Wasserkuper. It's a Condor 2 being launched. Roan Adler. Darmstadt. Minimoa. Condor. Minimoa. Takranik 2 dropping its undercarriage. Minimoa again. That's the Raya, which was the peak of development of German gliders before the war. The Roan Adler. The rally comes to England. This wasn't an international, this was just a small meeting in the autumn. That's the Scud 2, dating from 1934. Roddy Morgan's Gruno Baby, which used to be the London club machine, Roddy Morgan. The Mu-13 in the foreground, Roan Buzzard. The VGC were invited to Old Warden, one of their flying days. Bristol Fighter. Pitts Special. Here they're trying to break a tape held between two poles at low altitude. Doing it the hard way, inverted. The Stearman. The Granger Archaeopteryx, tailless aircraft, 1930. steerman. Miles Magister. Kirby Kite going off on aerotow behind a stomp. Rothman's Pitts Special Aerobatic Team. There's a line-up of vintage gliders. There's the petrol, kite, Gloucester Gladiator, last of the biplane fighters in the RAF. This is the Willow Wren, dating from 1932. Manx Kelly doing an aerobatic routine in a Pitts. Wing Commander Wallace in one of his gyrocopters. This was the one used for one of the 007 films, Little Nellie. Very manoeuvrable. Here's attacking the bandit's car. Flying it hands off.
Wenn wir erklimmen schwindelnde Höhen, steigende Berggipfel zu. In unserem Herzen brennt eine Sehnsucht, die lässt uns nimmermehr in Ruhe. Feurige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergvagabunden sind wir, ja wir. Feurige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergvagabunden sind wir.
The Swiss fire being rigged.
Wolken sie ziehen, Edelweiß blühen, klettern mit sicherer Hand. Feurige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergvagabunden sind wir, ja wir. Feurige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergvagabunden sind wir.
The Minimower from Munster being put together. Rhino Liquor. Derby Kite. After takeoff, there were no landing places. Not for some time until you cleared the lake. That's Gruyere Castle. Slingsby Petrol. Roddy Morgan. Bruno Baby, Minimower, this is the Rhineland, a glider designed by the Aachen University, 1938. Putter H28, flown by Eugen Eberle. Bruno Baby, Roddy Morgan. Harry Seelan. This is the Spear 5, Swiss 2-seater. Via. Rhineland. Chris Wills tarting up his Kranich. We kitted him, it was Rent-A-Kill he was using. Booker Youngman. Mosway 3 going off, dropping its wheels. Rainer Billiker and Paul Serres dispensing brandy. Gruyere Castle. Ronnie Benson and Peter King. The airfield was alive with voles, which was of interest to this dog. Angus Munro now lives in Norway. Valerie and the dog. Lofty Russell's Via. This is a Mosway 2. The Petrol. Spear 5. Munster Mini Mower. Kirby Kite with Mike Hodgson flying it. Alphorn solos in the evening. von Arx from Switzerland, putting together his mini mower. The Sparlinger being rigged. Full series from Munster, Rainer Williker, Peter King having a go in the kite. Olympia Miser. Fascinating town here, it's pure Disneyland. These were actually corn measures.
Wenn wir erklimmen, schwindende Höhen, steigen den Berggipfel zu. In unserem Herzen brennt eine Sehnsucht, die lässt uns nimmer mehr in Ruhe. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind wir, ja wir. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind wir.
That's a view of the airfield from the castle battlements.
Mit Seil und Hacken alles zu wagen, hängen wir in der Wand. Engel fliehen, Wolken sie ziehen, klettern mit sicherer Hand. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind wir, ja wir. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind wir.
Mike Hodgson.
Im Alpenglühen, heimwärts wir ziehen, Berge, sie leuchten im Rot. Wir kommen wieder, denn wir sind Brüder, Brüder auf Leben und Tod. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind treu, ja treu. Heilige Berge, sonnige Höhen, bergverwunden sind treu.
Bruno Baby. Mosway 2. Here we are just above cloud base, 6,500 above the airfield, which is nearly 10,000 above sea level. The end of the flight was in a field 5 miles from the airfield, joined by a Sparlinger S-19. This is a teeny, a minimum aeroplane.
Jetzt kommt der Frühling, der Frühling, der Frühling. Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch. Der steigt beim Mirling, beim Mirling, beim Mirling. Kimstover Quies am Donnerstag, weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster noch hoch. Kimstover Quies am Donnerstag, weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster noch hoch. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erst gestern, was heute. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erst gestern, was heute. Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock. Jetzt kommt der Sommer, der Sommer, der Sommer. Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch. Da venga rumma, rumma, rumma. Kimstover Quies am Donnerstag, weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster hoch. Kimstover Quies am Donnerstag, weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster hoch. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erklärt, was heute. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erst gestern, was heute. Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock. Jetzt kommt der Herbst, der Herbst, der Herbst. Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch. Das nichts verderbt.
Gruyere Castle. Martini again.
Weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster hoch. Kimstover Quies am Donnerstag, weil die da die ganze aufs Fenster hoch. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erst gestern, was heute. Auf und wieder, heim schon wieder, auf was erst gestern, was heute. Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock, Steenlock, Sock. Jetzt kommt der Winter, der Winter, der Winter. Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch, Kimstaf noch. Ist nichts dahinter, dahinter, dahinter.
Chris Wills at the opening ceremony. Roger Barrett, Vice Chairman of the London Gliding Club. Dudley Hiscox, the club president. Took part in one of the German internationals before the war, the Wasserkuper. Proceedings were opened by a demonstration by a Hawker Sea Fury of the Navy at Yeovilton.